2021. First item on the agenda is the consideration of the minutes of the meeting held on October the 8th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion regarding the minutes.
I move we accept the minutes of the meeting.
And I second.
I have a motion to accept and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a discussion and consideration of the Commission's personnel and rulemaking committees and election of committee chairs and members. I actually was the impetus by putting this item on the agenda. I have, and I'll open up the discussion if that's okay. I've served in my tenure on the commission, on the personnel committee, so I'm familiar with it. And thankfully, really the only issues or items that we've taken care of as a personnel committee is it really administering the director's annual evaluation. Heaven forbid we have to do something even more serious than that as a personnel committee, but if we ever did, I'd certainly want the entire commission involved. So that's kind of why I thought, well, why are we having just a 3-person committee when we can involve the entire commission and actually be more effective? So that's kind of why I was kind of deliberating and wanted to pitch to the commission consideration of, as a minimum, eliminating the standing committee of personnel committee. I'm less familiar with the rulemaking committee since I have not served on that, so I'd be interested in hearing feedback from the other members, particularly those that have been around a little longer, Dr. Miller, and not being here since the formation of the committees was established. So I'd be interested to see any feedback or comments from the rest of the commission members.
I'd like to ask Robert if the statute that the Environmental Management Commission was founded on, does it require both of those committees to exist?
I guess I'll get up and come over here. No, I mean, Debbie and I both had a conversation. We had a conversation the other day, and we looked at the rules, and it's discretionary with the commission. They can establish, there is a rule that authorizes the commission to establish standing committees, but that's the only place where, you read about in the rules, regulations, or in the statute about any sort of standing committee. So I think if the commission were inclined to do so, they'd have the authority to eliminate or abolish both standing committees, and then as needed, they could reestablish them down the road. I think the big problem is the inability for members of the committees to communicate with each other without implicating a quorum, and there's really no way around that. Alternatively, if you were to abolish the standing committees, you could probably designate a member or two from the commission to do the heavy lifting on the evaluations for the director, or maybe moving forward on rulemaking, that sort of thing. The standing committees, my experience has been, is sort of handcuffs the commission or the committee members from actually getting work done, but that's been my experience. And I do think you have the authority to go ahead and abolish these committees and reestablish them as needed. Okay. All right.
Well, I know we've had problems with the quorum situation. Maybe we should just appoint somebody as the point person for rules and point person for personnel. And then you can discuss among yourselves I just think we've sort of been hamstrung by the current situation.
I think so, and if you were to move an extra member from the commission over to these standing committees, you'd have 4, and then you'd have a quorum of the commission.
Exactly.
So I don't really see any alternative. Either you keep the standing committees or you abolish them.
Yeah, my thoughts were basically any activities that the committee performs, in essence, the commission can do. Now, once again, I qualify that by saying I'm not intimately familiar with the rulemaking part, but to my knowledge, unless I'm wrong, I'm not aware of, since I've been on the commission, any actions that have been precipitated from the rulemaking committee.
I think it might be helpful to have the director weigh in on this a little bit because, you know, he's been involved with rulemaking a lot, and my experience has been with rulemaking is that the standing committee, the rulemaking committee, has had stakeholder meetings in the past and has made recommendations, just like the personnel committee does to the full commission. But I don't think there's anything that the standing committees could do that the full commission couldn't do or wouldn't have to ultimately do. They'd have to adopt a recommendation. But I don't know if the director wants to weigh in or not.
Both of these committees are advisory to the commission. The commission is the one who actually takes whatever action is involved. And if the commission can become informed without an intermediate step of being advised by 3 of the 7 commission members, then it would, as you say, become more efficient and allow for at least the same amount of input by all the commissioners. As far as rulemaking is concerned, the commission at any time, any commissioner, can ask the department to consider rulemaking, and we certainly would respond to that directive and bring up rules that are consistent with whatever the desires of the commission might be. Typically, the department initiates rulemaking, oftentimes just to conform our rules to EPA regulations and rules to make sure that we maintain primacy in the various programs, and to respond to environmental situations that arise throughout the state, to try to keep ourselves current with the appropriate rules for such actions that may develop in the state over time.
I would think that if a commission member was concerned that we need a rule on some issues, that people that they would go to get informed on that would be the department. So.
And we try to stay informed.
Mr. Chairman, I admit I've never served on the Rules Making Committee, and I was mistakenly thinking that these rules that we act on had been sort of blessed and passed over. I didn't realize it was mainly just department coming to commission, so
In my 12 years, in my 12 years with the department, I'm only aware of one circumstance where the Rules Committee convened to consider a possible rule, and it was referred down to the department for follow-up. And of course, we were involved with the initiation of the rule also. So,
Sure.
As you say, it can improve efficiency and can avoid the problem of communicating necessary communication that can't take place due to a quorum requirement.
Any other comments? Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? Anything further?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we abolish both committees and let the commission as a whole be involved in their function. You might want to appoint someone to sort of run with the ball on the director evaluation,
Mhm.
like once a year or whatever, just to sort of be the point person.
The administrators.
I move that we abolish both committees.
Second.
I have a motion to abolish the committees in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of abolishing the standing committees at this juncture, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Thank you. I think we'll continue, and if an issue arises, we'll just do something ad hoc, or I think the work will still get done as it has done in the past. But I think it offers, as the director said, it certainly improves efficiency and hopefully effective, as or more effective. I promised Debbie I wouldn't go to the next item on the agenda like I did last time until I get this thing signed. That was not an efficient way of doing it.
Thank you.
Good? Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the report from our director, Mr. LaFleur.
Good morning again, and welcome to all who are tuning in or in the room for this second meeting of the Alabama Environmental Management Commission for FY 2022. As you know, it's been our regular practice to provide an annual reports on the regulatory activities of the department by reviewing the EPA-generated compliance and enforcement metrics. That review is scheduled for the April 2022 commission meeting. ADEM does more than regulate the 35,000 permitted facilities in Alabama, though. The department uses various means to go the extra mile beyond enforcing laws and regulations to improve people's lives and our environment. Today's report will focus on several initiatives the department is undertaking in the non-regulatory arenas of litter, unauthorized dumps, scrap tires, recycling, brownfields, loans, non-point source pollution, beach monitoring, compliance assistance to regulated industries, and motor vehicle emissions. Finally, I'll introduce a sizable graduating class of newly minted certified public managers at the department, along with an individual who earned the designation of professional engineer. ADEM is a regulatory agency. That means we enforce environmental laws and the regulations implementing those laws. To accomplish our work, we gather data and scientifically set environmental standards, then issue permits that reflect those standards and take action to enforce permit conditions when necessary. We also take enforcement action against those found to be violating environmental regulations, regardless of permit status. The department also undertakes a number of non-regulatory initiatives to improve the quality of life for the people of Alabama. One initiative that has had increased emphasis in recent years is a program to reduce litter, especially in areas where it can enter waterways. Alabama reportedly has more miles of watercourses than any state in the continental United States. We have a lot to protect. Litter in waterways is not a temporary problem. Litter can float to distant locations. Often it sinks and stays on the bottom or becomes embedded in the mud or sand. It accumulates and takes decades, generations, or longer to degrade. Litter is a problem throughout the nation. The Alabama Department of Transportation tells us they spend $8 million per year removing litter from highways. Controlling litter is primarily a matter of education. Individual communities have varying degrees of success in controlling litter. ADEM is expanding statewide efforts to both educate the public and promote control technologies. A few of these are watershed awareness signage along the interstates in Alabama. You may have seen the green signs with white lettering notifying drivers when they're entering each of the 8 major watersheds in the state and reminding them to help keep our waters clean. Funding was obtained primarily through competitive grants. Another initiative involves large eye-catching sculptures of wildlife native to Alabama that contain recyclable materials being installed at interstate rest areas. Funding for these was also made possible from another competitive grant. This slide shows the 10-foot by 16-foot sea turtle sculpture to be installed at the Grand Bay I-10 Rest Area Welcome Station in Mobile County. There will be a total of 8 sculptures depicting wildlife found in the part of the state where the rest area is located. Anti-littering education materials displays are planned for each of the interstate rest area lobbies in Alabama. ADEM is providing no littering, no dumping signs to municipalities throughout the state to reinforce the message, as you see here. At the last commission meeting, I notified you of a pending $1 million grant. That competitive Gulf of Mexico Energy Security Act grant was awarded to the department to construct litter traps around Mobile Bay and the Alabama coastal area. As you can tell, we're pretty good at winning competitive grants. This grant will be used to put this litter control technology where it is most needed without depending on the availability of local funding. A specific focus will be on low-income and disadvantaged communities. During swim season, many citizens and tourists are interested in water quality at beaches where recreational water activities occur. The department monitors water quality at 25 public beach locations in Mobile and Baldwin counties and uses site signage as well as our website to post results. Coastal program personnel take roughly 800 coastal water samples each year. In conjunction with the Alabama Department of Public Health, the samples are analyzed for indicator bacteria, and on-site signs with interchangeable green, yellow, or red placards are used to notify beachgoers of the latest water quality results, as you see here. Most often, this information is needed after rain events. In addition to the user-friendly green, yellow, and red placards, the signage posted at these public beaches also directs the public on how to obtain the latest website information quickly on the beach and water quality data elsewhere, with QR code, an internet address, and a toll-free telephone number. The Non-Point Source 319 program is another non-regulatory program designed to improve water quality. It's called the 319 program because states participating in the program receive funding under Section 319 of the Clean Water Act. As the name implies, it addresses pollution that is not attributable to a regulated point source, reducing pollution such as pathogens from pasture land, nutrients from agricultural fertilizer applications, and sediment from some stormwater runoff is the target of the program. Here's a common site where you see both stream bank erosion causing siltation pollution and ready access for cattle in the stream, resulting in pathogens entering water. The non-point source program helps address this type of situation. The non-point source program is a non-regulatory program that reaches out to the agricultural community and others to educate them on better pollution control practices. It also provides technical and monetary resources to help implement specific pollution control projects. From 2014 to 2020, ADEM worked with various groups to develop and implement $28 million in 17 watershed management projects to control non-point sources of pollution. Non-point source pollution control, although voluntary, has increasing participation and has enormous potential to improve water quality. Unauthorized dumps, or UADs, recycling and scrap tires are somewhat related to the litter problem. These three programs have both a regulatory and a non-regulatory component. On the regulatory side, the improper or unpermitted disposal of waste is addressed with enforcement action. The non-regulatory initiative of the department includes utilizing a portion of the $1 per ton fee on each ton of waste deposited in landfills to clean up unauthorized dumps where a viable responsible party cannot be identified and therefore regulatory action cannot be taken. 570 unauthorized dump sites have been cleaned up through this non-regulatory program. Utilizing another portion of the $1 per ton landfill fee, we provide grants to municipalities to promote recycling. Approximately $1.5 million per year in recycling grants are awarded to municipalities. These grants have helped increase voluntary recycling and waste reduction, the rate from 5% in 1989 to more than 25% today. Another initiative utilizes a portion of the $1 per tire fee on each new tire sold in Alabama to clean up scrap tire dumps where a viable responsible party against which regulatory action cannot be taken cannot be found. Regulatory and non-regulatory efforts in Alabama have cleaned up dumps containing 11 million scrap tires. Another portion of that $1 per tire fee is utilized to promote the beneficial use of scrap tires. One example of this activity is the development of a very promising program involving a public-private partnership to bale tires at landfills within a given radius, then sending them to a central location where the private sector partner shreds the tires. This activity is to generate more supply of shredded tire material. The shredded material is then sold to end users. The Scrap Tire Fund purchases the necessary equipment. The revenue from the finished product sales pays the private sector partner for the cost of operations, including the cost to incentivize the delivery of scrap tires to the landfills, plus the opportunity to generate a profit. An additional objective of the scrap tire program is to generate demand for scrap tire material through demonstration projects. A project underway is the use of rubber-modified asphalt to pave 4.8 miles of roads in 2 state parks. Developing both supply and demand is necessary to create an ongoing viable method to deal with scrap tires. Formerly developed sites with potential contamination are known as brownfield sites. Often the sites are abandoned and are frequently in prime areas for redevelopment. State and federal environmental regulations typically do not require cleanup of these sites. So the state legislature promulgated statutes to offer incentives for returning these properties to productive use. ADEM administers a non-regulatory voluntary cleanup program. Some of the provisions and results are: following cleanup, new and previous owners are protected from environmental liability from ADEM enforcement actions. Tax benefits, including partial property tax abatement, are available to those redeveloping the property. To date, the department has made $3.4 million in low-cost loans available to help with the cleanup. Communities benefit from rehabilitating derelict properties, promoting the revitalization of nearby properties, and improving community image and quality of life. 653 brownfield sites have been identified in Alabama. This initiative has received increased emphasis in recent years. As of today, more than 500 of those 653 sites, totaling 9,400 acres, have been cleaned up or enrolled in this non-regulatory program. Aging infrastructure is a well-documented problem in our nation and in Alabama. From a regulatory standpoint, ADEM is intimately involved with the problems caused by aging drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. For many years, the federal government, through EPA, has provided funds to states for the purpose of offering low-interest loans to drinking water and wastewater systems for needed upgrade to these aging systems to avoid regulatory action. The Drinking Water and Clean Water State Revolving Fund, or SRF, non-regulatory program makes sure public water and wastewater systems have access to affordable funding. The SRF program makes low-cost funding available to public drinking water and wastewater systems in Alabama. They focus on small and disadvantaged systems with limited access to other funding. Since 1999, the Drinking Water SRF program has made more than $500 million in loans. Since 1989, the Clean Water SRF program has made more than $1.2 billion in loans. As has often been stated, the department's strategy to promote compliance with permits issued and regulated entities depends heavily on inspections and education. Two non-regulatory initiatives to promote compliance have been developed by ADEM. One is the latest group of 8 targeted educational videos for individual industry sectors, identifying the most common compliance issues and how to avoid them. These videos cover air, land, and water media. They are posted on the website and referenced in enforcement and non-enforcement correspondence with a link provided. The department provides a number of additional educational tools, including translating publications into other languages, calendars with reminders for reporting requirements, and similar type things. The second is a non-regulatory compliance assistance program that includes an energy audit program for municipal wastewater systems to reduce energy costs, which allows these financially strapped systems to maintain and upgrade aging equipment that is often the source of noncompliance. More than 10% of the nearly 600 wastewater systems in Alabama have been provided this free service. It is saving these systems more than 21.7 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year, in addition to reducing 15,000 tons per year of greenhouse gas and reducing releases of nearly 900 tons of nutrients to our waterways. Additional wastewater system operational reviews are offered to identify areas where equipment upgrades, operating procedures, and the like can be optimized with the help of private sector engineers to reduce costs and promote compliance. Financial and technical reviews of water plant operations are offered to identify and reduce water losses, improve water distribution pumping, and assess water utility billing rates, again, to help optimize systems, reduce costs, and promote compliance. Our Air Division has several non-regulatory programs. One of these seeks to reduce emissions from mobile sources. Diesel engines are used in many heavy-duty applications, such as locomotives, school buses, garbage trucks, tugboats, and long-haul trucks. These engines are long-lived, and more modern technology can significantly reduce the harmful emissions from the older engines. Utilizing federal grant money, ADEM administers a grant program to retrofit or replace older diesel engines. Since 2008, the department has distributed $5 million in grants for 83 retrofits for idle reduction, including 39 diesel locomotives, replacement of 55 older school buses in 5 school districts, and the installation of emission control devices on more than 450 various trucks and other vehicles. Educating the public on ways to reduce vehicle emissions is another non-regulatory initiative. The department has a long-standing program to remind the public through the no idling signage at schools and shopping centers. Here you see some middle school students getting involved. The department's primary function is regulatory. Today's report covered our non-regulatory initiatives for litter control, monitoring and publicly reporting water quality, controlling water pollutants from unregulated sources, cleaning up improperly disposed of waste, promoting the cleanup and reuse of old industrial sites, providing funding for upgrades to deteriorating drinking water and wastewater infrastructure, helping drinking water and wastewater and other regulated industries become more efficient and meet environmental obligations, and reducing motor vehicle emissions. This is not a complete list of our non-regulatory programs. These and other initiatives help improve the quality of life for all who live in Alabama, and they are an important part of what ADEM does. At the October Commission meeting, where we reviewed the department's FY22 operating plan, I noted that in keeping with our ongoing emphasis on the professional development of our personnel, the then soon-to-be graduating class of certified public managers would be introduced at this meeting. Well, this is the time. I'm pleased to introduce the 22 individuals who have dedicated the long hours to complete the CPM 1 and Advanced CPM 2 program. The Certified Public Manager programs are national programs and are administered in conjunction with Auburn University Montgomery. They are utilized throughout the state government. The 2 programs each include more than 120 hours of classwork, many more hours out of class, and work in small teams with a formal presentation of team projects, the equivalent of defending a thesis. As an aside, I would note that ADEM personnel are reportedly most often the ones elected by the team members as the team leader. By the time the CPM 2 program is completed, participants have invested more than 360 hours. These individuals have taken the steps necessary to prepare themselves to become the managers of our highly skilled professional staff. There they are. You're all standing, so I won't ask you to stand again. But those completing the CPM, maybe raise your hand when I call your name, if you would. Those completing the CPM 1 program are, from our Air Division, Chris Ayler. Chris, he's teleworking, I guess. Our Land Division, Austin Pierce. Also from Land, Billie Jean Washer. There's Billie Jean. From our Water Division, Alex Shavers. And Eric Reedy. Eric was in our Permits and Services till just recently. Field Operations, Ryan Cooper. In our Montgomery office, Chris Harris. In the Mobile office. Thank you for coming up, Chris. Rebecca Taylor in our Montgomery office. In Permits and Services, Sonny Heron and Crystal Thompson. In our Office of General Counsel, James Thrash. Okay. Those completing the CPM 2 program are Jennifer Young-Peter in our Air Division. In our Land Division, Jared Kelly. Joe Kelly? Yeah, Joe. And Lynn Roper. Lynn in the corner. In our Water Division, Blake Pruitt. In our Field Operations Division, Donna Adams, Pam Ballantyne, and Ashley Lockwood. They're all in our Montgomery office. In our Office of General Counsel, Kerry Blanton and Todd Carter. And in administration, Sharon Moses. Sharon. All right, congratulations to each one of you. And thank you very much for your work. We also have an individual who completed the rigorous steps to earn the designation of professional engineer. Nicholas Lowe, there's Nicholas Lowe. He is raising his hand. Nick is in our Water Division. Congratulations, Nick. Job well done. A lot of work. Our annual operating plan calls for encouraging our personnel to undertake professional development and for the department to publicly recognize their achievements when they occur. Today, we have seen that part of our plan in action. That concludes today's report. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I don't have a question, just a comment. It's encouraging and gratifying to hear the activities we have in the non-regulatory area, particularly related to public education. I know that in my experience, particularly on the stormwater side, many times you talk to somebody and they just don't realize where that goes. Unless they think it's going to the storm.
Disappears.
The term storm sewer, they think it's going to get treated somewhere. Now, you might as well be dumping it right in the river. So it's that can. So I just encourage the department to continue that education of the public in those areas that we just kind of take for granted. And I applaud the department for dealing with those things and encourage you to keep it up.
Sometimes it takes a long time. If you think about the anti-smoking campaign that's been around for the last 50 years, it does take a long time to sometimes see the results, although we're seeing results to many of these programs currently.
I seem to recall, and I don't know if it's still true, but is it still estimated that more pollutants get into our waterways from non-point sources than they do from point sources?
I believe that's correct,
Yeah.
because the point sources, we have tightened down significantly what comes out of the pipe at the end of those systems. Whereas if you think about the amount of agricultural land in the United States, and that can be a source of many different types of contaminants, that's why we often say that non-point source pollution control has enormous potential. And
I think educating the public in that arena is just only helps to improve that situation. So, thank you.
Good point, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Next item on the agenda is report from the commission chair. I don't have any specific report. other than I will take this opportunity to wish all staff at ADEM and those of you here a safe and happy holiday season. Spend time with your families and enjoy the time together. The next item on the agenda is any other business, so I'll open it up for any other business that we need to bring before the commission today. Hearing none, we'll go on to item number 6, which is the future business sessions. So we have proposed dates for 2022 for the 6 meetings that we have scheduled at 11 o'clock. They are listed as February 11th, April 8th, June 10th, August 12th, October 14th, and December 9th. So generally the second Friday of the month. So does anyone have any issues with those dates at this time? I'll entertain a motion then that we designate these dates for our meetings in 2022.
I move that we adopt these proposed commission meeting date, time, and location.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt the meeting dates, time, and locations for 2022. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Next item is a public comment period. I don't believe had anyone sign up for the public comment period. So, that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Anyone opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
We did.
That's one of our shorter meetings.
Yeah.